Hello, Cubs fans, and welcome. You thought my internet was freezing up, didn't you, Nick? To another episode of Cubs on Tap. I'm your host tonight, Joey Ricotta at Joey Knows Nothing. Make Morel high again. That is my tag name. Christopher Morel. We are very high because the Cubs got a 10-4 victory over the St. Louis Cardinals. We have our fingers crossed that my internet will not freeze as badly as it did on Sunday when we did a show, me and Tyler did. And I'm joined tonight by the man himself, Nick, at Nick_on_tap. Nick, before we get started, how are you, my friend?
Joey, I'm doing great, man. That was a fun time. I mean, like my tag says, their scoring is fun. And can we just do this every single night? Can we just score a bunch of runs and get a bunch of hitting? I mean, it's great to have good pitching and good hitting in the same night, and that's a hell of a way to avoid a sweep.
Yeah, it's fun when you get both. Finally, some hitting, right? Finally, scoring is fun. I like that. I like that name there you got. Yeah, busted it open finally, like a nice double-digit number, a nice comfy win. Even Keegan Thompson's struggles in the final inning there did not matter. And that's always fun to see, man. Not fun to see him struggle, but fun to see that it didn't really matter because you put up so many runs on the board. But yeah, we're going to get into all that. We're going to talk the entire game, recap this thing, because the Cubs did salvage the series by taking this final game against those dirty, disgusting dirtbags from that city, that boring city with the fake arch in it. God. So if you did catch any of the Sunday show that didn't cut out, I talked to Tyler about how Moab, Utah has Arches National Park, and those are real arches. Those are real arches. The arch that's in St. Louis, 100% fake. It's fraudulent. But with that said, Nick, we are Cubs on Tap at Cubbies on Tap on Twitter, presented by On Tap Sports Network. You can find us at ontapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports needs. We have Cubs, Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, even the White Sox, bets, golf. Jack wrote a great golf betting preview, betting picks article for tomorrow's tournament, starting tomorrow, which we didn't have a show for this week, but one and done. I probably will have something out for the one and done. But with that said, man, it's good to be back. It's good to be talking Cubs again. I feel like I still have not gotten like the full Cubs thoughts that I've had over the last few weeks out of my system, but I'm not going to be doing a ton of ranting like I thought I was going to be doing because of the victory. So, yeah, Nick, why don't we just go ahead and start with what happened today? It seemed like Justin Steele started out a little bit rough. Arenado, obviously the RBI triple, knocked in Paul Goldschmidt there in the first inning, and then the Cardinals tacked on another pretty quickly. I believe that was the Wilson Contreras RBI single. Willie, man, I mean, just welcoming the booze. Just please give me all of the praise.
That's the new move. Yeah.
He's in love with it now. Nick, thoughts on the start of the game and Wilson Contreras?
Yeah, I mean, Steele, as you said, he struggled a little bit, but he really maintained his composure as he's done all year. I mean, that guy, he's a stallion out there. Willie, with that, I thought that was so funny that he does that. He became a villain so quickly, and like before my eyes, he just Cubs villain already, and someone that I used to absolutely love, and I still have a piece of my heart. You were saying earlier, like, you can't fully hate him. I still feel that way. You can't fully hate on him, but how quick he's become a Cubs villain is just absolutely ridiculous. But Steele struggled, but he really did maintain that composure, and that's the most important thing with a struggling offense, because if you have a crooked number up early, it just takes away the chance of momentum building, even though you're at home. You have those demons come back, and like you said, this was very close to being a ranting episode, but they put together a great game. I mean, it's 10-4 victory. It's great.
Hey, one more loss would have put me right back there. But I really don't have anything to complain about tonight, and that's a good thing. I don't really like complaining. I can do that. I'm not really a Karen, but I feel like I kind of was with my internet provider earlier today. Neither here nor there. Well, it kind of does involve the show though, because now we seem to be crystal clear. But yeah, man, I mean, he did, like the guy said it last night on the show, right? He became the villain. Um, and he's kind of embracing that. And it really is like we created this monster as Cubs fans. I don't know what you expected. I don't know what you thought was going to happen going there and booing him, and why you would even treat him that way to begin with. They pretty much said all there is needed to be say on the matter last night in my eyes. But at the same time, I'm kind of like you. A part of my heart, dude, I can't really bring myself to hate the guy. I can't. Like, he was one of the guys that did it. You know what I mean? Like, one of the guys that brought the World Series to us. And forever grateful for that. And I still love watching the energy and the passion. And now we have another guy on the team who is pretty similar that way. He's got his own little funkiness to him, electricity, if you will, and Christopher Morel. And, we'll talk about him in a minute, but I feel like we should probably talk about Steele's outing quickly. And that's more so because his streak was broken. Justin, big balls of steel. I gotta look at it here. 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 3 walks, 3 Ks. It was the most free passes he's allowed in a game this year, tied for the fewest strikeouts in a game this year. Another quality start, though. Found a way to power through those 6 innings. The only bad part was, the run allowed to the 6th. Like I said, broke the streak, which was 14 straight games with 2 earned runs or fewer. Tied Jake Arrieta's streak set in 2015, from 2015 to 2016, for most consecutive starts by a Cubs pitcher with 2 earned runs or fewer. And what's crazy is on that play, Bellinger nearly threw out Juan Yepes. And I saw you had a tweet about that. So
yeah,
thoughts on Steele and thoughts on that last play there too.
Oh, it was so close. And they were talking about on the broadcast, did Gomi go up a little bit because he didn't want to pick it off the ground? And I thought he could have come back a little bit more. It looked like the ball had a little bit more height. He could have taken a step back, and maybe that would have been the difference. But regardless, what a throw. I mean, Belly's got such an arm. And if you didn't know that already, there you go. There's a prime example, Cubs fans. He's got a great arm. So it irks me just a little bit. I think, yeah, in my head, I feel like it's a play that I think Gomes thinks if he could do it over, he would have an out there. So it's disappointing, but Steele, like you said, balls of steel. It's start another streak. Just go back out there and continue being that pitcher. Put your name up in the national headlines. Like, I love seeing that. And finally, he's getting the respect, of it, that he deserves. I mean, come on. This guy, he's awesome. So, it's disappointing to see the streak broken, but it was a crazy way for that to happen. It was close.
It was really close. And I was kind of wondering, like, on that play, if because maybe the angle that Bellinger fielded it, that he wasn't expecting Bellinger to get as much power on the throw as he did. And maybe that's because Jan has been out for a little bit now and just hasn't – I mean, he's been watching, but, like, maybe just wasn't expecting, like, oh, shit, yeah, Bellinger does have a cannon. Like, I don't need to come up and expect, I don't know, man. It was very close. Just barely missed him on the tag too, but it is what it is. And, it didn't turn out to really matter because Cubs did what they did offensively, which I guess we'll get into it. Obviously great to see what Steele did, but that 3rd inning was really where the Cubs kind of took off there. Seiya Suzuki looked much better at the plate today, and it kind of started with that little dunker down the right field line for a double. It's not like he hit the crap out of it. It seemed like he was a little bit behind it. Dunker down the right field line, turned it into a double, RBI double, I should say. But then after that, it was like every at bat that he had seemed really great. And then also in the inning, the big blast, only hit of the game for Patty Wise, but Mr. Patrick Wisdom, who hasn't really been playing a lot lately, returns to the lineup and just like thumps one, which is good to see. Maybe he needed that rest. Nick, thoughts on Seiya and that third inning there?
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll start in reverse order. I think that Wisdom Blast was the switch, and it just flipped on the offense. Like you said, he was resting, but when he got a hold of that, we took the lead. It just the relief for all the Cubs hitters just rushed over, and you could tell through the rest of everyone else's plate appearances, they looked very crisp and they looked a lot more comfortable. But Suzuki, he's a guy you need him to be clutch and have these types of hits. And like you said, that was kind of, he was behind on it, but if you can get just one, it's amazing what kind of psychology is involved in baseball. If you just get one hit, it takes away that pressure that you're putting on yourself and you're behind in counts constantly. Maybe you can get ahead and look for the pitch that you actually want, and then you can drive it. So, I mean, that was a key inning. And like you said, that's just the third inning turned everything around. I think, and I hope just for a long stretch of baseball for the Cubs, because for so long it was one run games, so much pain, just constantly. So if you can get a few more runs, you don't have to worry about these close plays. You're not analyzing the play that with Gomes and Belly in center field as hard, because it doesn't matter. You got a bunch of other runs. So it's just reassuring to see.
100%. I mean, and that's a great point there. Like, I do think it's a psychology type of thing, right? Like you flip the switch, and it's funny because I keep seeing the Cubs players go like this. Like, do you know what that is? I don't know if I've heard.
I don't know what that is. I saw Wisdom is around the bases. He did that. He did his collarbone thing.
Yeah.
He did that. Yeah. I don't know what that is either.
I feel
Is
like
it
I saw
the blue switch?
Dansby doing that at second too after his double, and I was like,
yeah. It's like their thing that
is that turning it on? Like,
could be flipping the switch.
We starting the engine, we're flipping the key. Like, the actually, if you still use like putting the keys in the ignition, and I don't know what that is. Like, a lot of people do the keyless now, which go ahead and follow. Go look, listen, and watch Vic DiPotetto's YouTube about this fucking car manufacturers with the keys. Watch that, please watch that after this. No free promos, but I'll give a promo to Vic DiPotetto because it cracks me up. He's spitting all over the place. Anyways, sidetrack. I always do that. Yeah, man. I don't know the psychology behind it. Yeah, sometimes you just need to see one go through the hoop, I think. And if you're Seiya Suzuki, cool to see. Patty Wise, he's a big thumper. If he can get hot again with some more home runs, that was his 12th of the year. So great to see that. And then fourth inning, Yan gone summer continues. I believe it was the fourth inning, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, his first game back. It's not concussion leave, like the guy was incredible tonight. I'm looking at 3 for 3, a run, 2 RBIs, obviously on the homer, a walk. Played great defense. I mean, he had that play up against the wall where his shoulders touching the wall after it skipped by on a strikeout, and then he fires it to first base and still gets the guy in the nick of time. Like, great to see Yan Gomes back. All the Wilson Contreras stuff aside, Cubs seem to be, they might have made the right decision. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah. And it really, it takes away any type of narrative that sports writers can maybe write a story about with Contreras at the north side again. But this has been really awesome to see Yan Gomes just absolutely tearing it up. He's got 15 RBIs, I believe, on the year. I mean, that's some great production. And when he goes up there, he's not an easy out. And a lot of times you get a defensive catcher, a defensive veteran catcher. Sometimes they become easy outs, and you're just happy that you have him for the glove. And we got him for both, and he looks great. Coming off of an injury like that and having that kind of a night and that kind of a performance that's great to see. And it takes away any type of, like you said, it looks like we did make the right decision right now. I mean, Barnhart is just that's very much a tough topic when it comes to offense. There's
Ugh.
nothing there, but
Black hole, man. Black hole.
Jan Gomes he's making up for it, and he looks like your guy, and hopefully eventually Amaya comes up, and he looked great. He looked like he faced some tough pitching, and he had some good plate appearances, I thought. So eventually that's going to even out, but Jan Gomes, man, just great to see him and come back and homer like that. Heck yeah, keep it going.
Hell yeah. I'm fully on board with what you just said. And I just think, yeah, the Barnhart thing, we were talking a little bit off air. And I think I made the comment a little bit on Sunday before I was, the aliens attacked my internet. I don't know what the relationship is between Barnhart and the pitching staff, right? No idea. We know that Gomes is a good preparer, solid all around, pretty much defensively. And now he's got the thump. He's actually having a really good season offensively. It's great to see him back. I don't know what that Barnhart stuff is like clubhouse-wise. I don't know, but Amaya seemed to handle his own, right? And
yeah,
you kind of wonder, like, how long does he need down there before you're like, yeah, he can do it for at least be the second catcher full time there. So I don't know if you have any more thoughts on that, but I mean, that's kind of the one, like he didn't even play tonight, Barnhart. So, but it's just something that we were talking about a little bit.
No, I love where you're going there. And I think if we're going to stay with these moves of being competitive, that leash needs to be shorter than what I think it's going to be for Barnhart. I think eventually you are going to just need to bring up Amaya. I mean, how much time he looked like he was holding his own against some really tough pitchings in some really tough scenarios as well. And he just looked very poised up at the plate, and I loved that. And I'm a big guy on getting them MLB experience. So if someone like Barnhart, what's he bringing to the table, And like you mentioned, clubhouse things, maybe there's something there. I'm not seeing it like on the surface, but there could be something deeper there. But he's got to bring something to the table. Obviously, he is a good defensive catcher, but when you're an automatic out like that, it's very tough to keep you even on the roster at that point. So plus Barnhart, for me, I have some very hard feelings from the Reds. I don't know about you. I hated him when he was on the Reds.
I didn't like him either. Well, he was one of those guys where if he did come through, it was like, this guy, I don't know how and why this is ever happening. Like,
yeah. It was always like,
always thought he was garbage. I always thought he was garbage at the plate. And I don't know. Yeah. I mean, you make some great points though, right? Like, it's at some point you just have to see the MLB experience. I think the tough part is probably for the Cubs is they probably want Amaya, similar to what the reasons why Morel and Matt Mervis were held down for so long was they want him to get those everyday reps. And they probably thought, hey, this is a good chance to get him some good reps, and we're not expecting much. You can go back down, take this experience and grow on it in the minors, and then we'll see him again later on. And so it was kind of predictable him getting sent back down. I thought once Gomes came back, but I don't think it'll be long, right? Like it just doesn't it doesn't seem like, and it seemed like the pitching staff had really high praise for him. So him getting sent down with the corresponding move for Jan Gomes, it's not necessarily a negative. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes plenty of sense. And I think it's important that he gets the experience of being under a catcher like Gomes with just like running a game, because I like how Gomes runs a game and calls a game and stuff. So I think that if he can get on our staff with a good, solid veteran, that's huge too. But you bring up a great point with everyday at bats. That's very important. So, I mean, it's a tough thing, but it's a good problem to have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I like the way the roster's coming together right now. I really, for the most part, you get Nico healthy. You know, Mervis finally got a day off. I think this was his first day off. since getting recalled. But I like the way the roster's coming together. Scott's going crazy in the chat right now, by the way. Thank you guys for all the comments in here. But Scott's like DFA Hosmer tonight, not even Hosmer. That's his special. It's Hosmer, as Scott always says.
I agree with Scott on that. I really double play machine is what I call him.
I mean, I don't really care if he's not as long as he's not playing every day. I don't really care. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of that for me. But Scott also says DFA Barnhart June 1st and DFA Mancini May 21st. Scott, all right, we got a bone to pick. Yeah, what are you saying here? All right, I know. Well, he's been against Mancini from almost the beginning, I think. But Mancini had a really good night tonight, and he's really. They talked about it on the broadcast too. Boog mentioned, I think he's hitting over 300 in his last 18 games. So, I mean, tonight, 1 for 1, 3 walks, 3 runs. That'll play. Like,
yeah, that will.
If you have two other guys hit home runs, I don't care if he's not hitting for power. You got on base every time. They scored 3 runs. I mean, I will take that to the bank and run with it. But I know Scott's probably joking, but or maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, man. Let's talk about the rest of this lineup here. I don't know if we really got into Morel, but every single Cub had a hit tonight except for Madrigal. Madrigal top of the order. Kind of predictable, right? If you're going to have a big outburst, Madrigal probably didn't have anything to do with it. If you scored 1 run in the game, Madrigal probably had a lot to do with that. That's just kind of the way it works. But Morel, 2 for 4, couple ribbies, a run, big double, just a huge energy boost, man. Like this guy, he's so fun to watch. He is so fun to watch. Are you as happy? I know you're as happy as I am to see him back. The guys talked about it last night. It's really nice to see him back at the big league level.
Dude, I mean, I'm ecstatic to see him back, honestly. He's been one of my favorite players. To see him back, it brings me a lot of joy. And I think it's the energy shot that the Cubs need right now. I think they need a little morale. Like you said, they need something like that. And when he comes up to the plate, he's just a guy that's having fun playing baseball. Like, you can just tell he likes the game. He loves the game of baseball. He doesn't care about anything else. He just loves the game of baseball. And his plate appearances, the way when he hits that ball, when he gets a hold of it, it's just, you know right off the bat that he got it. And it's like, he brings a lot to this team, a lot of things that you don't see and things that you do see. But the main thing is swag and energy, like you said.
Yeah, I think the other stat they brought up was, I think Hap did this in 2017 and 18. He homered in each of his season debuts, 17 and 18. And Christopher Morel is I think the only Cub, maybe, I don't know if it was the only Cub, but first Cub since then to do that and to homer in both of his season debuts each year that he debuted. Like last year, obviously first at bat. And then, which is electric. And then, yesterday's game, the home run, but then continuing it like that first, let's go back to the very first inning, right? I was a little worried. I was a little worried. So they got bases loaded. Morel, Jordan Montgomery has killed the Cubs. He has been a Cub wrecker. You look back to last season, you look back at when he was with the Yankees, when we played them, I think it was in the Bronx. He tore us apart. I mean, Jordan Montgomery has had the Cubs number for the most part. And so I'm looking at this, and I'm like, we have obviously they've been struggling to score, and especially with guys in runners in scoring position. Tonight, 6 for 14. They came through. But, that first inning, right? 1 run given up. The Cubs stranded. It was either the first or second inning. Maybe it wasn't the first inning. I forget which inning it was now. But they stranded bases loaded after a couple walks from Montgomery. He walked 2 guys in a row. There was already a guy on base. And the outrage among fans on Twitter when he got called out on that third strike, which I know I'm gonna be the asshole to say it. This is where a veteran hitter. This is a veteran hitter compared to a young hitter, right? In my opinion. Not that Morel can't expand the zone. He does have a pretty good high walk rate though in the minors. He just whiffs. But so that's why his strikeout rate is pretty high too. But Morel swung at 2 pitches. He took the first pitch. He swung at 2 pitches off the plate outside, missed them both. And then he watched a pitch, which was a ball inside, but it was closer to a strike than those 2 pitches off the plate. And I'm looking at this like, okay, well, you kind of did that to yourself. Umpires fuck up all the time. We see this all the time. And the outrage on Twitter was like, oh, robot umps, please, robot umps. I mean, yes, okay, fine. You want a robot umps, just say that. But a veteran hitter sees that he just walked 2 guys in a row. He just missed on, I think it was 3 straight balls to Yan Gomes. You're taking until you get a strike, right? Like, if I'm up to bat, I'm taking. I don't care if it's professional, if it's majors. I know it's different. They can zone in a lot faster than somebody at like rec league. But I'm taking a pitch until I see a strike. And Morel didn't do that. But he didn't let it get to him. Like the game went on. He didn't come through in that position. It was like the eraser, the Men in Black eraser. He forgot about it, moved on, came through clutch later in the game. So those are the things, dude, you could take and learn. If you're Morel, you could take that situation and learn from it. And you can also look at it as be like, fuck yeah, that's a dude. When you can forget it quickly, that's a ball player.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. And that's a great point. That at bat was pretty frustrating, but like you said, it's the choices you make before that pitch that really impacts it. And you know, a veteran, the umpire knows if they know the strike zone or not. They're well aware of it. So it's something that he was able to flush away, like you said, and continue on. And that's what makes him a good ball player. Like you said, he just likes the game of baseball. That's kind of how I sum it up. And there's a lot of players, I would say they're on the south side, that look like they don't like the game of baseball. They're just there for the money.
Shots.
They're just, you know, yeah. I mean, I don't care. There's always shots coming our way. Yeah,
Fuck
who cares? Who cares?
Fuck them, crack them, block them.
Right. There you go, crack them. It's reassuring to see players that actually like the sport and naturally are going out there and giving their all. So, you know, he flushed it away and he went back with a more aggressive plate approach and stayed to who he was. But like you said, those are opportunities for learning for him, where next time maybe you take the pitch, you see the guy's wild, and you take until you get the strike. So I like where that is, what you're saying there.
Yeah, man, definitely. I mean, like you said, he's a guy that loves the game. Like, it's so apparent. And it's hard not to root for guys that genuinely love the game. Like, we as fans, I think we strive for watching ball players that truly look like they love the game. I mean, yes, we want just good baseball in general, but Dansby Swanson's another one, man. Like, Swanson, you could tell that dude just loves playing ball. I think they really have a good group now. Just looking at the Cubs roster as a whole, they have a good group, in my opinion, of guys that seem to love the game, play hard. There are very little times, if any, that I can really remember off the top of my head where I can say that guy should have had a better effort on that play, or that didn't look right. Like, what were you doing? You pulled up on that. You just don't see that very much. And, you know, Scott's here in the comments too. I'm pro robot ump. Hey, man, look, I don't care. I mean, look, if we get robot umps, we're trending that direction. I'm just not as hard. I'm hard on umps. It's when it's Seiya Suzuki because he gets fucked all the time.
He does. All of the time. It's terrible for confidence too.
All the time. Yeah, dude. That has to lead into his chases. And, you know, like, this is a guy that sees the strike zone so well. We see it in the first season. He was one of the better guys at it seemed like watching pitches, even the close ones, and taking those pitches. And now it's like he's expanding a little bit. But again, really good to see him bust out of it. But yeah, man. Nick, any other thoughts on like the offense though? Like what did you see tonight that you really liked, or anything that you didn't like? I don't know how. I know there's not much you didn't like with a 10-4 win, but
oh yeah. No, I mean the thing that I really like and I want to see moving forward is scoring with runners in scoring position and cashing in on those 2-out opportunities. Good teams, they cash in 2-out opportunities. It's devastating. It's a devastating blow to your opposition. You feel like you're almost out of it. And then 2-out rallies are just a killer. And good teams do that. And they did mention in the broadcast, I've been down on the Cubs lately for leaving a lot of runners in scoring position, but they did mention that good teams leave a lot of runners in scoring position. For example, they said the Dodgers last year left the most runners in scoring position and scored. So I was like, okay, maybe, Joe Girardi was saying it's going to happen. And it did. It happened. So I like that the Cubs are staying true to who they are. They're not, just getting down on themselves and just now buying into horrible plate appearances. They gave up on that. They're staying true to who they are. And like you said, you really don't see bad effort out of this team. They're just a bunch of good ball players that just want to go out there, fundamentally play well. And if they can just cash in those opportunities, that's the difference maker between the Cubs going from here to here. You just got to cash in on those opportunities.
Yeah, I mean that really is what it is. And it's nice to be able to say you cash in on opportunities, and that's also nice to get those bombs, right? Like it really has felt that way with runners in scoring position. And I was trying to make this point on Sunday that they've really struggled runners in scoring position in high leverage and medium leverage spots, and been really good in low leverage spots and runners in scoring position. But to be a really good team and to win those close games that they've seemingly lately been coming out just short on the close games, especially, I mean, the Marlins they just win close games. That's just what they do. But to do that, you have to come through in those high leverage situations. It's just because those are momentum killers. Like, I know people don't believe in that sort of stuff, but it is like there is something real to that. Like you talk to ball players, like the analytics don't tell you that, but all you need to do is go into a dugout. Like, I know it's different MLB levels we've played at, whatever, but there's something to that, right? Like if you get something, you start coming through in those situations, you start feeling a whole hell of a lot better about your squad, and it just instills that confidence. And I do think some of that might be the guys that they've called up. And maybe returning from injury or returning off the bench. Like, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but we need that to continue. If they're gonna be good this year, Nick, they need that to continue. 100% in agreement with you.
Yeah, they really do. And I think you're right. I mean, I think the moves it shows the fan base and the team, quite frankly, you want to win. You want to be in a position of staying competitive in the division, and you want to win. And I mean, this is a winnable division. It really is, especially with
the
Cardinals doing the way they are. I mean, let's just run it.
Look at this, Nick. Look at this comment. Beautiful.
That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see.
You love it. Pirates and Brewers both lost tonight, Scott says.
Yeah.
I mean, these are situations that the Cubs could have taken advantage of the last, week or two, but I don't care. I still think the Pirates are not going to be there end of season. I think the Brewers – I don't think the Cardinals are this bad either. And they've showed that the first two games of this series, right? Like, pitching, it's not all Wilson Contreras' fault. We know that. Like,
yeah.
I was joking with Juice on Twitter, Andrew Kisner, whatever you say his name. I'm like, yeah, he's going to be full-time DH after this game. DH for the foreseeable future. But, yeah, man, really good stuff. great way to wrap up this series. They get an off day tomorrow. Finally, they get an off day. I don't know how many games. I don't know if you know that off the top of your head that they've been playing in a row.
That was a long stretch. I don't know how many, but that was a long stretch. They need this off day desperately. Nico Horner's hamstring needs this off day.
Yeah, and the bullpen too, right? Like,
yeah,
man. I mean, especially like Keegan hadn't pitched since the 6th, and he pitched tonight. Before that, he didn't pitch since the 2nd, so he wasn't getting a ton of, which he was 3 great innings the last time out. Tony the Blind, what's going on, boys? What's going on, Tony?
What's going on, Tony?
Appreciate you jumping in. But yeah, man, I Fulmer looked good. The box burger, Mr. Storage unit himself pitched pretty well. I don't know why I just called him a storage unit. But a little trouble for Keegan, but he finally got out of it. Yeah, man. Any final thoughts on this game before we kind of wrap this thing up?
Yeah, I mean, I felt really good about this game. Like we said, there wasn't much bad. I mean, if any, there was really no bad to talk about. They needed this. They needed to go out on a high note, especially with some difficult stretch coming up here. They needed this, and I'm a big believer in momentum. So the momentum's back in the right direction, and let's just keep going in the right direction. Fly that W.
Bang, there it is. Fly that W. The W's are back, baby. The Chicago W's are back. This is a better team than how they've played recently. And all the numbers really show that for the most part. Talent's there. We could be in for – I don't know if they're going to win the division. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs, but fun baseball nonetheless. What's on tap? We already said it. We got an off day tomorrow. I believe we're going to run a show tomorrow, Nick. I think it might be Ron. Ron is Ron's idea to do a show tomorrow, so it might be Ron, me, maybe you, and not sure who else. But we might have a pretty large crew. We don't know, which would be fun tomorrow to get the whole squad. We got to get the whole Cubs on tap squad. It's been a minute since we've done that.
It has.
So, but it's great getting back on the mic with you. I want to say, is this our first just duo show?
Yeah, this is our first duo show. Yeah, it's been great. Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. And because, Juice is going to, if he listens to this back or is watching, wait, where's it at? Where's my insurance set? Oh, I got to flip it the other way. Look at the insurance. The insurance mic is back, and the internet connection has been great. Comcast came through. I don't know if I was supposed to say their name on here. Listen, they got their shit together. Like I said, I'm a guy that doesn't have my shit together. Speaking of which, MLB, after the off day, the Cubs face the Twins, and the first game in Minnesota is on Apple TV, Nick. Hey. How do you?
We talked a little bit about it. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's so idiotic by the MLB to be like these exclusive, making your games exclusive when you're saying, "Well, we're having trouble. We want people to watch. But let's make it harder and harder to watch. Let's make the people that have subscriptions not be able to watch in a certain geographical location, and then let's make it even worse. Primetime games we're gonna put on Apple TV, and you have to leave your house and go to a bar to go watch it. What are we even doing here?
You know what? Yeah, well, it's bullshit. And the other side of that is too, I went to bars where I'm like, hey, can you put the Cubs game on? In Vegas. I went to a bar in Vegas. I'm like, hey, I forget if it was Apple or if it was Peacock, something like that. I think it was a Marlins game. Wasn't one of those games on?
Yeah, I think it was on either I think it was Peacock, maybe, or maybe I think it was Peacock. It was on
one of the bars in Vegas, Sportsbook, didn't have the Cubs game on the Peacock. MLB, what the fuck are you doing? Get your shit together. And it's coming from a guy who can barely keep up with the expiration sticker for his car. Okay? Like his driver's license. Get your shit together. Stop this. Stop taking the quick, fast cash and think long term, because you're going to make a hell of a lot more money if you actually air your product for everybody and don't make it on these streamable platforms that everybody has to individually get. Tony says here, wait, which one did I click? He's got two of them now. Damn, he popped one off right after that. I was going to say, thank fuck, brother. It's been rough the last few times I heard you, but you sound golden right now, my dude. Thank you. Appreciate that, because, yeah, I feel golden. Cubs won. Let me just say, boys, I've been cut off for over 10 years. My TV is connected to my PC, so I don't need anything but a website to get literally any game being played. Hey, listen, you're not supposed to – I don't know if you're supposed to be sharing. I don't know where are you getting this stuff from, Tony? Where are you getting this stuff from?
You gotta come set me up, Tony. I need that kind of setup.
We need help. We need mental help and physical help to get our games aired. I forgot the banner here too. See, I always screw up something with this live stream here, Nick. But yeah, tomorrow we're gonna do a show tomorrow. Tony says DM him, by the way, so he'll set us up. So that's cool. Make sure you're following all the guys. Cubs on Tap crew, at Loose on Tap, at Juice on Tap, Loose on Tap, Juice on Tap, at Teddy Freddy 270. You can follow Nick at Nick on Tap, Nick _ on Tap. Excuse me. Me, I'm at Joey Knows Nothing. Make sure you're following Bulls Guy Rob, our prospect guy, at Bulls Guy Rob. We are at Cubbies on Tap, CUBBIES on Tap, and presented to you by the On Tap Sports Network. Go to ontapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports needs. Cubs, Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks. I think the Bears guys are live right now. And yes, as Ron always says, we do have friends that like that team on the South Side. And I don't know why I'm so excited to say it, because, I mean, it is what it is. I could never, but they do. They like that team on the South Side, the Chicago White Sox. And yeah, they do a great job. Sox on Tap. Scott says, fuck them. You know what? Fuck the Cardinals, though.
Yeah, fuck the Cardinals, too. But also fuck the White Sox. But mainly fuck the Cardinals.
Fuck everybody.
Fuck them all.
Fuck them all. That's like big bull, little bull going down the hill. Yeah. Take our time. I want to fuck this one. I want to fuck that. No. We take our time. We go down there and we fuck them all.
Fuck them all.
Nick, with that said, what do you say we get on out of here the only way we know how to do every single time?
Fuck the Cardinals.
And fuck them all.
Fuck them all.
Let's go Cubs.
Go Cubs.